All right, we're back for season 2 of Inappropriate Earl. We got picked up by the networks, and a lot of great guests have come on. Stephen Piercy from Rat, Tawny Katane, Bobby Brown, and then a bunch of comics you've never heard of before, and a couple other mid-level people. But today you've heard of this comic because she's what they call in the business a real up-and-comer. You've seen her on Chelsea lately. She produced shows on Impractical Jokers, got a few film credits, Comedy Store, Staple, Late Night. Please, fans of Inappropriate Earl, put your grubby little sausage greasy fingers together for Annie Lederman. That's an intro, right?
I like that you picked up my IMDb.
Well, I try and do research.
That's so funny.
And a lot of people accuse me.
Those credits are so weird.
Well, a lot of people accuse me of having girls on this podcast that I've either slept with already or want to sleep with, and I want to get this out of the way right now. There's no sexual chemistry between you and I. Zero.
I mean, well, I think once I rejected you so hard that you just kind of like moved on.
Well, I did, because the first, I don't know if you remember this, but the first night I met you, you were at the Comedy Store in the manager's office. I walked in, you were talking to Adam, who's now the talent coordinator. Thank
I know,
God.
lucky me, right?
Well,
glad I was nice to him. I can be a real cunt. I was very nice to him.
But that's why I liked you. You looked up at me and you were like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a comic." And you gave me the most dismissive look of like, "Oh, you do comedy?" Like, it was unacceptable that a man
Well, you did have your dick out. Let's not forget that important part.
But you asked to see it.
Never. Don't spin lies. Don't spin your web of lies.
Well, I am a Comedy Store savant, so
is Boone, but that's okay.
And Boone's a homeless transsexual who steals things and sells them for $1.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like you do Mangina more than Boone does.
Well, as being a late night comic at the store, the store can have a strange atmosphere. And I'm in a weird position myself. I'm not like you, a paid regular, so I have to do what I have to do to get laughs. So I do the Buffalo Bill thing just to go, oh, he's pretty funny.
Do you do the Mangina part or the skinning people part?
Both. There's a couple comics I would like to skin up there.
I feel like Tommy would have passed if you were skinning.
And I want to get your thoughts on Tommy. We did a podcast where Matt Edgar and Amy Hawthorne, probably one of the more popular podcasts, where we broke it down. I'm kind of in the middle on Tommy. And for those of you listening, Tommy was the talent coordinator who was dismissed recently.
Is this so boring for people to hear about? I always feel like podcasts are so... Like, there's like this niche of people that like want to hear about... It's like they want to hear, but they're like, what'd you do today? It's like so boring.
But I don't think it is, because I think...
It is interesting to us. I love it, but I'm always wondering if people give a shit. Obviously, if you said it was your most popular podcast, people do care.
Well, it was other than the Stephen Piercy podcast, and I know you're too young to know who he probably is.
I am 14 years old. I have no clue who that is.
Listen, I'm into young chicks. So.
The tits are right on point with that.
You got great...
I have 14-year-old boys' boobs.
Yeah, but you have great tits for a girl your size.
Oh, my God. I don't know what...
You're a small girl.
I mean, this is insane. Listen... Earl, you're a fucking personal trainer or whatever the hell you are. You constantly are like, no, you're not that bad. And I really don't believe it. I don't buy it. For someone who like pumps iron at the gym all day, you have to look at me and be like, this is a big boned person. She's thick. It's not on purpose.
I don't think you're thick.
I mean, if this whole podcast is you just telling me I'm not thick, I will be on it every week.
Yeah, but people, they want to get to know you. Like, they see you on Chelsea lately.
Not anymore.
Well, it had a nice run.
Yeah, I had a good run on it. It had a good run.
But you don't really get exposed on that show.
Yeah.
Like, it's just you do the jokes, and then it's, that's it. People want to know about your tits and what kind of guys you bone and, how you like the L.A. versus New York scene. This isn't like, Carson Daly interviewing you. I get to the nitty.
I'm doing that next week. That's so funny.
Can you give him my reel?
I will. That's my whole interview is going to be me like pointing out your reel to him.
I mean, at this point, I'd be happy to get on Byron Allen's gig.
I'm also doing that in 2 weeks. I'm having quite a month.
I just need to. Well, you're having a better month than I am. I'm on the cover of LA Weekly as the house racist on Roast Battle.
I mean, that's great. Did they put your Twitter handle on it?
No, they said my name a few times.
It really drives me fucking crazy. Everything should have everyone's Twitter handle on it.
And you have like 18,000 followers. That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm slowly building. I had a lot. I think most of them are from when I was on Opie and Anthony. And I used to open for Jimmy, so he would retweet me.
Jim Norton.
Yeah. And so most of them for that, like a couple, not too many from Chelsea. I got a little from At Midnight. Like, it's weird the things you get them from. But so most of them are Opie and Anthony, which means I get a lot of "I'm gonna jizz your glasses off your face" comments.
Yeah, but I mean, I would take those followers.
I feel like you and those people would get along really well, actually. And you've got the glasses for them to jizz off.
I mean, I would. I mean, I don't know if I would get to that level. But I only have 3,200 followers.
Ooh, I gotta go. Really? That is a bummer.
Yeah, but it's a popular podcast. I'm one of the top 3,800.
That's good. Good for you.
I'm right behind, I think, Dean Del Rey's and a couple of thousand other people. I mean, I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
If you just compare yourself to Dean Del Rey all the time, that's kind of like a fun.
But he
you
was
and Dean have like a rivalry?
Oh, no. We did a podcast together.
Oh, and then you broke off.
Well, to be honest with you, I just got too lazy to drive to his house in the hills.
Oh, his house is in the hills? Is
Yeah.
he rich?
I mean, he's kind of like me. He's a secretive guy.
I am so fucking sick of you rich pieces of shit. Comedy is for the poor, the troubled, the miserable.
I agree.
I get so jealous of, there's so many people I know whose sister's married to someone, or like something weird is going on where they like came into comedy with like support. I'm like, what is it like to be like supported and rooted for? It's like
But you could
crazy.
see where coming from a not wealthy background, but whatever, upper middle class, I would say I am.
Oh my God.
It hasn't helped my comedy.
Well, your comedy stinks. We all know that.
But
and it's garbage.
I mean, it's okay.
You've got a good personality off stage, so eventually, I'm just kidding.
No, but see, that's what I love about you. Most girls, you would be kissing my ass. My ass.
I mean, does that really happen?
Not
They
really.
like see you at the roast battle and like, he's so racist. Let me
Yeah.
get that dick.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've done all right for myself at the Comedy Store. I do okay.
Yeah, you've put in, what, 20, 30 years over there?
It feels like it. I mean, you'd think I would have bonded with Tommy.
Tommy was like interesting, going back to that, because he was like really nice to me. I mean, he passed me right away. Like I always said this about the Comedy Store. Like, I love to be a part of it. It felt really good to move out here and kind of have this like community already. And I was very grateful to get passed right away. I know that it like probably pissed so many people off. And,
Not really.
But I'm sure it did. Like people that like, I mean, I didn't have to like do any of the stuff. And I know that I came in right at the right time where I had just gotten a bunch of TV credits and I was kind of like had some heat. So it worked out for me. But I always say this, like, if I had to have auditioned twice, I would have hated the fucking Comedy Store. I'd be like, fuck this place. Like, just like, I would have been so pissed off. There's so many, I mean, I know so many like great comics who are so successful, who I really looked up to in New York, and who come out here and they can't get past. And I know it pisses them off that I'm passed, but.
Well, but I mean, at least with the LA comics, I don't think one person was like, she shouldn't have been passed. I mean, you're really funny. So I think some of his other passings were maybe, not looked upon so favorably.
There are a few people I go on after where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, there's nothing worse than going to the Comedy Store, looking at the lineup and going, ooh, this could be interesting. And then it's like a great room and you're like, oh, maybe this is going to be a great night. And then that one person before you goes up. Usually what happens is they're like late or something. And so you're about to walk up you're like, oh, I guess I'm just going to go up next. And right as they're bringing you up, that person will like come in and then they will just be so shitty and horrible that the whole audience will walk. And then you're like, well, crushed, dreams crushed on this set. But
And then you have to dig yourself out of their hole.
But it's not even about digging yourself out of the hole. It's just kind of like dealing with the disappointment of the idea that you were like just about to go up. And you like imagine yourself having, or like even if it's a bad set, you're like, or a bad show, you're like, I'm going to be the one that turns it around. And then you just fucking, first thing he says just eats it so hard that you're like, this is going to be interesting.
Now, No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know. I was gonna say. I mean, it's you just have to do like crowd work a lot in that room. It's really fun. I love it. I like that room because I've said this on stage before. Where I'm like, I can't. When I open it, I'm like, I can't promise that you guys aren't gonna see someone's asshole tonight.
Or
Like you might see someone's dick, their asshole. And I asked. I was like, has anyone been here before and seen someone's asshole? And one girl raised her hand. She's like, I didn't, but someone did show me their pubes on stage.
it was probably me.
I'm sure it was you. Did they let you on the stage?
You know, every now and then, Don Barris.
Don Barris will let you come up, play the
Usually-
air guitar.
I mean, it's not really, I take what I get there. But,
No, I know.
I mean, I remember once auditioning for Montreal, and I did okay. I didn't get it. And Dalia walked up to me and said, dude, I didn't even know you did comedy. And he was being very nice. He was like, he was being complimentary.
That hurts, though, doesn't it?
Well, at 10 years in, it's not really the angle I was looking for. But.
Well, I get people, since I moved from New York to here, I get people who will tweet at me. They're like, do you still do comedy? And I'm like, ouch.
Yeah,
I just don't live in fucking New York anymore. I'm just like not at the clubs that they used to see me at. But it's really, I mean, they don't even mean it as an insult ever, I don't think.
Now, why did you move? Did you feel you accomplished everything you could in New York? And
yeah, I just thought, I just done it all. And I just, I was the best comedian there. And I had to leave because I was just killing it so hard. No, not at all. I was doing Chelsea like every 3 weeks. So I was flying out and I was kind of just breaking even with the amount of money I was making. So it just made more sense for me to move out to LA, and I was going to come out for pilot season anyway. And so I just decided to move, but then it was like a little bit rough because I still had my apartment in New York for a while, so I couldn't afford a place. And I was like staying at so many people's houses. And then I was like staying in my car. I mean, it was like a real shit show.
Because I think people think that if you're on TV, you're just the gates open of money and like just you saying that I was like, well, but you were on Chelsea like every couple weeks and like.
I mean, I don't feel comfortable saying how much I made, but.
Oh no, I'm not asking.
But I mean, no, I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, it was like SAG half a day rate type of thing.
But I mean, do you get more road work, right?
You know what happened? I think I'm not sure what happened. If it was just that towards the end it wasn't as popular. Like the people that first started out in doing Chelsea, like the Joe Coys and the
Whitney's
and the exactly the Whitneys. Like I think they came in the beginning, like because it was the Chelsea Handler show first, and then they switched it all up and they made it Chelsea Lately. And so like I think when that really hit. Those people got tons of like a huge following. And then as the years went on, they had so many people go on the show and do, they do one show and then Chelsea wouldn't like them or the producers wouldn't think they were a good fit or something. And then they wouldn't be asked back. But then when their agents send them out on the road, they package them as a Chelsea Lately comic. So then people will show up and they'll be like, I don't even know this person. So I think the Chelsea Lately credit kind of got a little diluted, or maybe there weren't as many people watching, or maybe they just didn't give a shit about me being on it.
I mean, that's what I always felt about, say, The Last Comic Standing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had people who were shown bombing on the blooper reel, and they would use it as a credit. So, like, when someone like, say, Eliza would go out, it's like, well, you can't use the same. I mean, she won.
Yeah, she won the thing. But I think people just want, the credits are for us so that we can get on stages and stuff. I mean, I guess for road work it sort of helps, but I think that's just trying to trick the club owners into headlining you. It's not really like you're a draw or you're not a draw. I mean, just saying you were on a show is not enough. They have to have seen you on it and remember you from it. Like, if that's going to draw you.
When you headline, what is the most used credit? Chelsea?
Like I did American Comedy Company like 3 or 4 months ago, and they Chelsea Lately was bigger than my name on the thing. And then what was so amazing was that I really learned what my target audience is, and it is like bull dyke lesbians. Like I mean like women who like look like boys, like filling the entire. That's my San Diego audience. I know I seem very dykey.
No, you have that look. You're too pretty to be dykey.
I mean, do you remember when he was like, there's no sexual anything? He's got a boner and he's like aiming it at me.
But I think of you as like a sister. Like even if you said, Earl, let's get it on, I don't think I could do it.
I mean, okay. Do people say, Earl, let's get it on?
I mean.
Do you bang women your age?
No, they're too old. You got to hit the young'uns.
I agree. I date younger guys.
Well, I mean, I date younger girls because they seem to have daddy issues.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And I mean, I can take care of business when I have to.
I like to be a mama. I like to take care of my boys.
Now, have you ever been with women?
I got fingered by a girl once it was actually post-grad, so everyone was really worried about it. But it was just this girl that I was like friends with who she like looked like a boy. And everyone like thought I was dating her. And when they would ask me, I'm like, no, it's Pat. That was my joke. It's Pat. This was when I was like super alcoholic in Santa Fe. And so I hung out with her all the time, and I was dating this this kid. God, I mention him on every podcast, and he always listens to it. This guy, I don't know why I just randomly bring this guy up, but this bartender, I was a bartender at one place, and then there was a bar like 2 bars down, and I dated the bartender there for a little bit, and I fucked him, and so he was like, we both were alcoholics, but I mean he was like just the worst type of guy that I could imagine in that situation. And so I remember him showing me the video 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Oh, great video.
And but my lesbian friend was always like kind of planting seeds as they tend to do. There's a lot of lesbians who love straight girls. They love to turn them. So she planted a seed, and she would always be like, maybe I'm like, I just never thought I was gay. I've never even thought about it. I've never even imagined being a lesbian. And she's like, well, maybe that means you are a lesbian. And I'm like drunk. I'm like, maybe you're right. Maybe that is it. And then so she's like always saying, she's like, come on, girls are better. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Shut up, dummy. And then I remember I'm with her and she's saying that. And then he calls us into the office and shows us 2 Girls, 1 Cup. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let this girl finger me tonight. And then I was bored by it and I didn't really like it.
And it went no further.
It went no further. I wasn't into it.
You like dick?
I like dick.
Now, do you find traveling a lot, it's hard for you to... Do you want a boyfriend?
I have a boyfriend.
Oh, there you go. That shows you the research I do.
Yeah, I've had a boyfriend for a little over a year.
And what line of work is he in?
He runs sound.
For like music?
At a comedy club.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, see, no one really runs sound at the Comedy Store.
What if it's Jeff?
If it's
I'm
Jeff...
I'm fucking Jeff.
Well, Jeff Scott is the piano player at the Comedy Store who... he's keeping it real. But we'll get into. Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's the Improv.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get a lot of time at the Improv, so I wouldn't know who it is. But
I mean, where do you get time?
I mean,
roast battle.
I would. Well, yeah, basically. Let me see where I get. When Rob Schneider takes me out with him, just wherever he's at, like Hermosa.
Yeah, he gave me a guest spot once. He's really nice.
He's super cool.
He's really nice. I like befriended him on Twitter, and he was just so nice. It was really good.
Yeah, no, he's doing his own thing. He's doing his own TV show now, and like he put me in it. I can't act for shit.
Yeah, he wanted me in it, and I was so done with pilot season at that point. I was like so fucking over it. I had just been. I mean, I was like, it sent me into such a dark depression. I mean, I didn't even think that I was like. Could be affected by outside things that much. And then I was like, yes, pilot season's over. And then he reached out to me about this part that he wanted me to do. And I just started getting these like really bad cluster headaches. I don't know do you know what they are?
I mean, I get migraines.
Cluster headaches are like similar to migraines in that they're like one side of your face. Like my teeth would hurt, behind my eye would hurt, my temple, and then like up like a little like near my jaw. So bad. They're called like suicide headaches because you just like want to kill yourself. But you get them like several times a day. So I would get them at like specific times, like maybe 3 times a day. And they go into remission for like 2 or 3 years. I've gotten them before my dad gets them. They're mostly in men. So of course I get the men's headache disease. But I just couldn't do it. I auditioned for him once and he was like, come back in and be better pretty much. I mean, I really didn't. I mean, I just couldn't even, I just was so defeated at that point and just was so sick. I was like sick. And then I couldn't go back in. I couldn't leave my house during the day because if I got a headache, I couldn't like drive or do anything.
Well, it's funny. I think the part you probably went out for is the girlfriend of the assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the scenes I had was her blowing me behind a weed counter.
Oh, see, I'm so glad. Sometimes things happen for a reason. You get cluster headaches so you don't have to pretend to blow Earl.
That was a great scene. And
it was like the chick she worked in the store?
Yeah, she worked at the dispensary. I was like the asshole boss.
Okay.
And then, there was a whole.
It would have been so. I mean, it would have been really fun. I just was so sick, and then I was looking at like the shooting schedule, and I wouldn't. I just with my headaches, there's no way I would have been able to do it.
It is pretty hardcore. I mean, I know. I think they did 8 episodes, all just back to back
Yeah.
to back, and he's doing it all on his own.
Yeah, good for him. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he kind of got fucked over by CBS,
Yeah.
and he just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do my
Yeah.
own thing."
and why fucking not? If you have like the money and you have the following or whatever, do it.
Yeah, no. So hopefully, I think it'll be on Netflix or something. We could have had our screen debut together.
I mean, yeah.
We have a chemistry. It's definitely there.
But you said something to me. You were like, you're like, you should do the podcast because we hated each other so much in the beginning.
Well, I wouldn't say hate.
I think that's so funny.
I think that we. I'll be honest with you. I thought you were a cunt.
Uh-huh.
I was like, well, who is this girl
Flattered.
from New York? Comes out here. Her shit don't stink. It has this,
I also am like slightly Asperger's, so I was like on the spectrum. So I don't like emote with my face as much as other people. So it like really plays deadpan. So I've just like rolled with that. But people be like, I love your like deadpan. I'm like, I just like don't. I can't really like show that much emotion with my face.
But I think what turned it for me was I saw you go on late one night, and you were talking about your pussy, and like I was like, wow, I could get behind this girl. Like she's
Wow. So people have never heard my comedy are like, all right, we know what
it's
she
great.
is.
Do you have an album on iTunes or anything?
No, I don't. I don't have an album on iTunes, but you can see me on Last Call with Carson Daly next week.
Oh, you really are doing
I
Carson
really am.
Daly. Oh.
All of those things are true. It's
I
so
thought
funny.
you were just kidding.
No.
Now, what show does Byron Allen have?
Comics Unleashed. I think he has so many shows.
I think I'm the only comic who's never been on Comics Unleashed.
Well, get on it.
I'm trying. Pretty soon they're going to run out. That's my whole goal.
Yeah, obviously they asked me to do it.
Well, I'm behind you in the pecking order.
That sucks.
Like maybe Montreal.
I think I'm going down in the pecking order.
Well, if you're near me, you are.
Are you going to Montreal this year?
No, I didn't get. No. I got bummed out. I tried out like 4 years in a row, and have you done it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like the Super Bowl of comedy.
I did the Unwrapped, and I like flipped out. I had such a. Okay. This is the whole thing was like I auditioned. I was like 2 years in,
Right.
Maybe 3. I auditioned my like first or second year. I had been doing comedy like a year and a half, and I auditioned, which is so early to audition. And got on their radar or whatever. And then the next year, I had really busted my ass in New York. I would perform 20. I would do 20 sets a night. I would do mics. Until I got shows. And then when I left New York and came out here, I was doing about 5 shows a night. They weren't all good shows, but I was consistently doing the most comedy I could. So in that 1 year, I really, I guess I had progressed a lot, and they had kind of been like courting me for the Unwrapped. I made sure to not sign with anyone so I could do the unrepresented group. And then, so my callback was like a little shaky. Like it didn't go as well as my original set. And it just was like, I was just bummed that it wasn't as good as I could have done. And so I like found the guy who books Montreal. Like I tracked him down at like a bar before
That
he
Robbie
left.
guy?
I talked to Robbie too, but Jeff, and I tracked him down. And I was like, I want to go this year. I'm not going to need it next year. I want it this year. Like I'll kill, like just so confident, right? Like ignore that set. I'm going to fucking destroy, right? Just like and they did end up giving it to me. And Robbie had been like, do you want to wait a year? Would you rather go like a year? But I'm like, no way. I want this year. This is it. And then I bombed so hard. I ate it so hard and totally would have benefited from another year. But I did get a lot, even having bombed, I got a lot out of it. And I think that people, like almost everyone bombed on my lineup. And it wasn't like we didn't bomb, like some people bombed to silence, but we just had shaky sets. It was a rough show. It was later on in the night after a bunch of other shows. It was all industry. There was just no regular person there.
And those are the worst type of crowd.
Yeah, they just like they were watching you. They weren't enjoying it at all. So like one kid killed, which sucked. It like ruined all of our lives because we were like, oh, everyone's gonna bomb. Joe Mackey, who was just on Last Comic Standing, who's so fucking amazing and funny. Thank God it was him because there's nothing hateable about that guy. and he was just crushed so hard. I remember it was all Industry and Howie Mandel.
Oh wow.
And I remember getting off stage after like bombing and like feeling like I had ruined my career, like being like, well, that's it. I'm like 2.5 years in, my life is over. And just looking at Howie Mandel and being like, what the fuck? Why is Howie Mandel watching this? And but it was fun. Everything was fine. But I think a lot of people bomb and don't talk about that. They just pretend like they did well, which maybe is what you're supposed to do. I think like that's Los Angeles. Like Los Angeles is like, just like fake it till you make it. Pretend you're doing great. New York is like, you better fucking tell the truth, because if we find out you're bullshitting,
it's more real.
You're done. So I struggle out here with that a lot.
Because there's a lot of phony people in this.
Oh, I can't stand it. People like will list their credits to you. You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, I noticed during the roast battle shows, the New York comics who judge it, like Hannibal or not Patrice O'Neill, Corey Holcomb, they're very honest and opinionated.
Yeah.
And, like some of the L.A. comic judges are like, "Oh, that was great."
Yeah.
So
I just remember when I judged it, I was just like, I think the best part about roasting that sometimes gets overlooked in those roast battles is just, if there's no friendship between the people, it's not as fun. Roasts are so fun when you're friends with the person, because you fucking can destroy them, you know? You know exactly what's going to like really hurt them.
because it's a sign of respect.
Oh, and it's the best. So it's just like the one I judged, the girls it just seemed really like they fucking hated each other.
See,
like,
I kind of like it. When
yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely like, hatred's fun to watch. I mean, you could tell me you're going to cut my legs off if I don't stop talking shit, and I'll fucking army crawl around.
Like you and I would be a good roast, because I
don't know enough about you though. I mean, it's like I've like helped write on some roasts for like they did the Anthony Bourdain roast. I helped my friend was on that. I wrote some jokes for her, and you know, I can do them if it's like people that I'm not supposed to know at all, or like my friends. Like I'm sad I missed Dan St. Germain's roast because I was out here. Right. But I gave a bunch of jokes to one piece of shit who.
Did you say anything about Anthony Bourdain's alcohol face? I mean, that guy.
I said all of his recipes have 12 steps.
I mean, that guy loves his.
And then what did I have one? I had one about Rachel Ray and Artie Lang was on it, and it was Rachel Ray, your weight seems to fluctuate so much. I wonder who has more scars on their stomach, you from liposuction or Artie Lang from Artie Lang. It's like right after he tried to kill himself.
Artie's looking a little rough, but I think he's better from what I understand.
Yeah, he seems to be doing better.
So what's next in the world of Annie?
I'm on the new season of Girl Code.
And what is that show? Like someone was talking about that to me the other day. I didn't really know what it was.
It's yeah, it's funny. It's like it's super popular between for girls who are like 13 to 15. I don't know what the exact demographic is, but it's super popular amongst them and then not amongst other people. So like I have some friends that have been on it, you know, for a while, and they'll just get stopped by like little girls, and then other people have no clue who they are.
Now, you strike me as someone that might be a little too edgy for a show about, or that's that demographic. I mean, are you told to clean it up?
No. They don't care. They just bleep it out. You can say pussy and stuff.
Now, what did you produce Impractical Jokers?
I think they call it producer. I mean, I helped write jokes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I think that on reality TV, they have to call that a producer.
Did you like doing that?
I actually had a really crazy experience writing there. I only wrote there for like 3 weeks. I love the dudes on Impractical Jokers.
But that's...
You're asleep.
No, I love it when a guest talks a lot, because people don't want to know about me. I'm not successful. People want to know someone who was on a successful show like that. You know, they want to get the real.
Yeah, I feel bad like talking. I don't want to like tell too much info about people or whatever. I mean, I'll keep the names out. But I mean, I love those fucking dudes. It was so fun. I don't know if Casey Jost is still writing on there. He was like the head writer after I left. He's the best. He's so cool.
I mean, you know,
it was a real dream team.
I love a girl like you who talks a lot. People want to know about you, not me.
Didn't you just say that?
Yeah, but it was worth repeating. Now, what are your thoughts on Joan Rivers?
I loved her. I loved Joan Rivers. I think it's a bummer she died like that, because I hadn't really watched Fashion Police ever, because I don't care about fashion. And I was watching I just randomly put the TV on, and it was the like 3-hour episode or something, hour and a half that they did on like the VMAs. It was literally her last show that she did. And I was watching, I was thinking, holy shit, this bitch is 81 years old and she is like she's going to keep going for like 10 years at least. Like there's nothing that's going to stop her. So when that happened, I was like, oh God, that sucks. You know, there was just no way she was going to be done comedy in the next 10 years.
I mean, who are some of your comic, do you have anyone in particular you look up to? Other than me?
I hate this. I don't know why I hate this question. I mean, obviously Norton was like it was great to go on the road with him. I love what he says. It's like he said to me before, like he's like, the thing that we have in common is that we like tattletale on ourselves on stage.
Right.
You know, I like that. And I like how he will he just reveals the shit that's crazy about him to like, and then people are just, not that people can like directly relate with like pissing on people or whatever, but they like have whatever their pissing on people is or getting peed on. I can't remember which one he likes.
He's the real deal. That's
yeah, he's
for
great.
Sure.
He's great. And I love Dave Attell. I don't know him at all, but Skanks for the Memories is like my favorite album.
He judged the roast battle one night. It was
he did.
Funny.
He's great. He's so good.
He didn't. He looked like he was like. He didn't know what he was really judging. He was like, he felt so bad for one guy because he bombed. He's like, well, I'm going to give that round to that guy.
Yeah, just sometimes you're like, it is like, to bomb at a roast is such a bummer. It's such a bummer because it's not over. It's not going to end. You got to keep going.
Yeah. So.
I love roasting. Roasting is really fun.
Well, you have that very acerbic personality.
I'm a cunt.
But you're like, you're a pretty assassin. Like, you look at you like just on the visual, you go, oh, this girl's really sweet and, kind of dainty. But then you talk about the whole deal.
Why did you just rub over the fupa area?
Well, because that's like, you do a joke. What is it? You have a happy...
my happy trail that goes from my asshole to my unibrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, people would look at you and go, she's not going to say something like that. And you do. And it's funny.
It's, I mean, I like was just tweeting about this, like, where it's like, who are these people that like believe, like, these people that are like pro themselves? They're like sociopaths.
Well, that's me.
You like yourself?
I mean, I think I'm, there's worse people in the world.
I mean, if Hitler were alive, I would say there's worse people in the world than me.
Yeah, but Hitler could work a crowd. I mean, you got to give him that.
He was good. His mustache was cute and tight. He really took care of that.
But I mean, he had a great stage presence. He just, some of his ideas were a little overboard.
Yeah, he went a little nuts.
I mean, I've often said that the Holocaust was really the first bringer show. I mean, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, but the bringer show existed. So
now you don't. What are your thoughts on LA? Speaking of bringer shows, do they do bringer shows in New York?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have bringer shows. I lucked out, man. What I did was when I first started comedy, I quit drinking after my first open mic because I was like, I just wanted to do it so bad. Like when I started comedy, there was never like a moment where it wasn't going to be my career. It was not a hobby. It was not a thing. I was like 100%. And I go up for my first open mic and eat it so fucking bad. Just, obviously like stage fright, dropped my notes, couldn't remember what I was going to say, just like blabbered up there, like probably blacked out the whole thing. Just remember my face being all hot. And then I went to the bar and this open micer just kept buying me drinks who I like really couldn't stand him. I just kept being so mean to him. I was like, I fucking hate you.
Was he trying to pick up on you?
Yeah, he was picking up on me. And then he was also like, he was being really like condescending, which like in retrospect, obviously if it's my first open mic and he's been doing open mics, he's going to like want to lend advice. But to me, in my head, I was like I'm already a comedian even though I haven't done this. So I was, and I was so drunk. I mean, I was such an I was like such a nightmare. And so he was, he was like, don't worry about it. We all have like rough set. And I was like, fuck you. Maybe you do, just like such a shitty piece of shit. And just like really hated him. And then, like wake up in the morning on his air mattress, fully clothed, not even having fucked him, but just being so humiliated that I ended up there. Like, just like, how the fuck did this even happen? And I remember like looking around his room and just being like, I'm never drinking again. Like, this is so annoying. And I knew that, like, even though I hadn't slept with him, like, people were going to think I slept with him.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I knew that I couldn't sleep. I knew in my head, I was like, you can't sleep with comics because then you'll just be that girl and they won't respect you. So I quit drinking, and then I go back to that mic the next week, and the host is on stage, and he goes, well, when that girl comes in, I was late. When that girl comes in, we'll have to retell that story. And I know it was that story.
Right.
So it turns out he had gone on stage and made it seem like I sucked his dick, which is like, I mean, I had done nothing with him. I remember him like pulling his dick out and me being like, I fucking have hated you this whole time. I'm never going to stop hating you. And so I just waited till the end of the mic to go up. And I said, I was like, I had some jokes planned, but I just got one thing to say. I was like, I've woken up on park benches bleeding. I used to wake up every morning and check to see if I still had my teeth. I've woken up like not knowing where my clothes are, like in an arroyo. I never considered quitting drinking until I woke up on your fucking air mattress and like dropped the mic and like def jammed it out of there. And I just was like, and then it was almost like I had like people against me. So then I had that to fight against.
Right.
I would have people for years go, oh, I remember you from Cake Shop. That was the open mic. Oh, weren't you at Cake Shop? I mean, obviously they are just fucking with me to like remind me. So I just like, I had like the fire in me to like show them that they were wrong.
Now, it's been 4 years since you've taken a drink?
6.
And do you find, I mean, like, I've never touched anything, and I've never been tempted, but we are in a business. Well, actually, you're in the business. I'm just trying to get in.
This is so sad.
It really is. This is an intervention to get
This is like not even recording, is it? You just want friends?
Listen, I gotta be honest with you. I don't even know how to work this equipment. It's a business where it's constant alcohol, cocaine. I see probably every night,
Yeah.
marijuana. I mean, do you ever worry about like going over the edge, maybe after a bad set, or
No, because since I like quit drinking after my first open mic, it like I don't have a career with drinking, so
right?
I don't even consider it. I don't even think about it.
Do you go to meetings and stuff?
No, I went to meetings like I did 90 and 90, which is like your first 3 months. You go every day. You go to 90 meetings in 90 days. I did that, and then I started to find myself dealing with like all of my like authority issues, and I started to feel like AA was like this thing that I had to rebel against, and I was getting really worried that I was going to drink so I didn't have to be in that anymore. And so I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to step away from this and try to just not drink because I don't want to drink. Like I had to make sure I was not drinking because I wanted to, because I knew I had a problem and I didn't want to live that life anymore, and not because I was trying to impress all of these people that I had become friends with. So I stepped away, and then I'll go every once in a while to a meeting, but just for whatever. I mean, I think it really helps people, and I'm not like shitting on the program or anything, but it just, for me, I feel like I would have drank, because you talk about drinking so much, you just like talk about your stories, and it's really hard. I mean, I want to remember, and I don't want to like take it for granted, my sobriety or anything, but it's just rough to like sit in those basements and just hear all the stories over and over again. It's like, I want to move on from my drinking, and it's been just so long. Like I was thinking about recently how my big issue with drinking, like I would wake up from a blackout and my phone would be broken in half, my flip phone. Like there weren't iPhones when I drank, I don't think. Or maybe there's like rich people had iPhones. You probably had one.
I had one. I had the first
you and Dean Del
generation.
Rey had really awesome ones. But like it was like my Razor phone. And I mean, I really like, one time I woke up, I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico for 7 years, and that's where I was just like a real shit show. And I was just like slut. I just like didn't like respect myself. I would just like fuck anyone. Like if anyone hit on me, yeah.
Damn.
I would just.
Would you have slept with me? It's
If
possible.
I was drunk enough. I mean, I fucked this one kid who wore glasses without lenses in them. Like I hated him so much. He was such a dork. And one night he sat next to me at the bar, and I was like, ugh, this kid. And then he just stayed. And then I woke up the next morning, and I knew I'm allergic to condoms, so I knew I'd had sex with him because he used a condom, and my fucking shit was all hurt. And I mean, he didn't rape me or anything. I'm sure I was like for it or whatever. Which is like so sad that I like did that. And then I remember like going to like get up to like go to the bathroom to like wash off like the shame and the fucking condom residue. And I like get up and I tripped over his Crocs. And I fell to the ground. I was just staring like, and the Crocs had like those like ornaments, you know how people have like the charms. And I was like, this is literally one of the worst experiences of my life. Just so humiliated. And then, but I just always was doing shitty things. And then I had a motor scooter. I had like a little Yamaha Zuma Vespa type thing. And I would just get so blackout drunk. That's like still my happy place, being blackout drunk driving a scooter. But I would drive it everywhere. And one night I just got super wasted. It was my friend's birthday. It was his 30th birthday. I was like 22 or 3 or something. And it was his birthday. And he was at this bar. And I was like, oh, it's your birthday. Buy me shots. So I was like getting super wasted. And then I was like, I'm going to suck your dick for your birthday. And he's like, all right, let's go over to this dude's house. And then I go to get on my scooter and they're like, you're not driving. And I'm like, yeah, right, bitches, beep, beep. And then I like drove off. And then I woke up in the morning with my entire face like cut open. I had road rash all over my tits. I like almost lost a nipple. There was like cuts all over like the front of my forearms.
Right.
Like I had fallen like with my arms like covering my chest or something. I just like didn't even, I was so drunk. And then so all I could remember was that and my chin was like seriously split open. Like so much blood everywhere. The dress I was wearing looked like someone had slit my throat. Like it was just so bloody. And so before I went to the hospital, all I could remember was that I had like called. I knew I'd crashed my scooter. I didn't know where. And I knew someone had given me a ride home. Someone had driven me home. And my roommate was going to drive me to the hospital. And I remembered that in the middle of the night, I had called my dad. I'd called my mom, my dad, and both of my brothers. And I'd been like, I'm an alcoholic. I need to go to rehab. I fucking fucked myself up. And they're like, should we call an ambulance? I kept saying no because I was going to go to jail.
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm fine. And then I realized it was fucking Father's Day. And I had just like ruined my parents' life. They're like miles away. They can't do anything about it. I'm like screaming about rehab. So then the morning before I go to the hospital, I have to like do damage control and like call all of them and be like, never, about last night, about that rehab thing. I was in a blackout, disregard. So then they didn't send me to rehab. My brother was the only one that was like, you're fucked up. And then my mom was like, you don't need rehab for drinking, you need rehab for life, which is not a real thing. But I didn't get to go to rehab. I just ended up quitting after that open mic. But I have like a scar on my chin from it. And that was the second accident I had gotten in. I had like a head wound from falling earlier that week. I was like all fucked up. So I fucked myself up a lot. I was like really bad. And I think if I had kept drinking in New York, I would have fallen into the subway and been killed.
Well, because New York strikes me, the comics, would they help you try and get out of your funk, or would they enjoy watching it?
Watching me die?
Well, out here, there's somewhat of a close-knit community. If someone needs help, they're,
Yeah, I don't know. My friends from New York I'm so tight with them. I think the only difference is really like busting balls. I think that in LA, sometimes like I'll like fuck with people and they take it very seriously. Like they really like feelings get hurt here, which is crazy. Cause I'm like, obviously I'm just kidding. Whereas in New York, I think it's way more ball busty. So even if it seems like those people are like shitty, my friends are the meanest motherfuckers around,
Oh yeah,
I love it.
It goes back to like when we first met. I just wasn't used to a girl, let alone anyone, talking to me like that.
Thank you for thinking I was a girl. Usually people are like, "Dude, stop."
No, you were dressed in all black, and I'm like, "Who's this girl?"
And then I was like, "Fuck you, die."
Well, pretty much for the most part. And I'm like, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go show my dick to the crowd."
I know he really does do that. That is real.
But how do you think that act would go over at the Cellar if I just did that one night? Because I hear the Cellar is the most comedy store.
Honestly, I'm not past at the Cellar, and I never I would go sometimes with like Bonnie McFarlane or Norton, and I always have like the table in the back where you're like not supposed to sit unless you're passed, and I never knew that and would just sit there, and now like looking back, I'm like, oh, maybe that was like crazy that I did that. But I just don't have that that like kiss ass. Like I won't let people make me feel small.
Right.
So
and how do you do that? You just stand up to them?
Yeah, every once in a while I feel, like people get me, but I just don't I don't know. I have brother. I just like won't put up with people. I'm not gonna like. I'm gonna treat people the same way they would treat me,
Right.
no matter who they are. But Bonnie was like, I love taking you there because you just sit down. I was like, is that? I didn't even know that. I didn't even like. I wasn't even like acknowledging that was a thing. And like, but what am I gonna like go there and like sit at a table next to my friends?
Right.
I mean, not that I'm not friends with all of the Comedy Cellar people, but you know, some of them are just like weird.
But I mean, that's like, is that the one where everyone wants to, like?
I feel like when I moved out here, I abandoned like that dream that was like, you know, to be passed to the Comedy Cellar and to be like, you know, just like performing there every night and hanging out with all those dudes, you know, Colin Quinn's. I mean, it's like great. It's amazing.
Right.
It's such an amazing place. The camaraderie with the comics is great. I mean, it's really like living in New York was like the fucking best. I'm so glad I did it. I don't want to move back. I definitely have had more opportunity out here, but I look back on it sometimes and with a little bit of regret. Like maybe I should have stuck it out.
No, speaking of regret, other than doing this podcast, no, I'm just kidding. I do appreciate you coming down. I know you're busy, and it's.
I was getting my nails done.
Well, but still, you got probably auditions to prepare for.
Oh God, I don't want to do pilot season anymore. I'm up for this one talk show pilot, and if that gets picked up, I will be completely excluded from pilot season, which would be like true heaven.
I mean, how do you deal with not rejection, but like when you, especially being in recovery, like sometimes I have a hard time with, you know, not getting whatever. How do you deal with like?
I like punch things. I'll like hit myself. I'm like crazy. I get so angry. I just panic. All of my scripts have been torn up. Have been torn to pieces. I have to print out like extra sides because I will fucking tear them to fucking shreds. I'll like bite them.
Right.
I just get so fucking mad. I can't stand it. I just hate auditioning. I think like I can act in the situation, but that feeling of like going in, like I know you're supposed to go into auditions and be like, oh, these people want me. They want me to be a fit. But I'm always like, these people hate me. I have like, my friend's a therapist and she says that I have imposter syndrome, where I feel like I'm a fraud and like I get all these things out of luck and that people are gonna realize it one day.
Right. That's the phone ringing, by the way. I thought
I can't believe someone's calling you. Who was it? Cleaning lady?
No,
I feel like you hire topless cleaning ladies.
Well, no, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that was a booty call from years past. You know, listen, my mom told me one thing about, I'm going to stand for a while because I'm so old.
Yeah.
I got to
You got to stretch it out.
Blood circulating. My mom told me one thing about sex. You make a girl come first, they always come back for more. And
did she really say that, or are you doing your stand up?
Oh, you want me to do some stand up?
No, he is standing up. Everybody who's listening, which is probably just Dean Del Rey to make sure that you're doing worse than him.
I probably am.
I like the idea of you guys being like competitors against each other. I know you're not, but
I mean, he was actually showed me a lot about the podcasting
he's a
world.
nice dude.
Very nice
so
guy.
Nice.
And you know, has gone farther than anyone I've ever known. Given, you know, I think he's only been doing stand up like 4 or 5 years. So I've been doing it 15, and it's like he blew past me. So,
yeah.
But you know, he's I guess you'd say an aggressive marketer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm too much of a pussy. I'm very shy.
Well, he's got like a rock and metal background.
Yeah. So he's already had the stage presence, I
Yeah.
guess, and you know, he networked with the right people, and that seems to be a lot of what it is these days, is who you know versus.
It's so different. Like this is what I feel like when I moved here. I feel like in New York, I felt very much like I was very proactive. Like if I saw something, I mean, obviously, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I feel like for me and all the comics I know, like jealousy is such a huge thing in this business. Like it's so hard to not just get that like kick in the stomach when someone gets something, or if you don't get something. So I feel like in New York, when I would see someone get something and I would be jealous of it, I would just go, oh, logically what I need to do now is perform more, write new material, bust my ass. Like I made sure I performed a little bit more than everyone else always. Like, so I was like, all right, I'm working a little bit harder than everyone. Like I always felt like there's, you know, a million people are going to say a million things. Oh, she got this because of that, or she's a girl, or they're going to like, you know, make up shit about me fucking people or whatever.
Right.
And, you know, I never fucked anyone who could help me. I've let open micers finger me.
Well, that's cool.
But I've never fucked anyone that is like in any position of power or can help me in any way. And I just made sure I worked hard. And so in New York, that's rewarded. New York, if you work really hard and you really start to like, your set really comes together, people are going to reward you. You're going to get all the shows, everything you
Right.
need. And out here, you just need TV credits. There, if you have a TV credit and people think you suck on stage, you're not going to get any spots. You might get a couple.
Right.
But out here, it's like they just want you to have credits. And so it's all about getting things more than it is about like being a great comic, I think.
See that? Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with.
Because people just get stuff. I mean, people just they network. They know the right people. It's not bad. I mean, I used to have a real like chip on my shoulder about. I think most New York people have about L.A. and be like, oh, it's so much more like actors doing this and that. And it's like, I think LA comics are hilarious. And whereas before I was just kind of like shut down about it. But people are funny, and it is more like relaxed out here. Like I feel a little more relaxed on stage. I'm not as stiff.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's. I mean, it used to be more camaraderie, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Now it seems to be a little more.
Then
like,
what happened?
Cutthroat. I think Last Comic Standing really put it in everyone's head. All you need is like 2 minutes of comedy to get on TV. So
Yeah.
there's just, just an avalanche of people who shouldn't be doing comedy.
Yeah, it is interesting how the credits really don't like. People would always email me when they would see like from high school or middle school when they'd see me on Chelsea, and they'd be like, "Oh, first of all, they'd always say I always knew you would be a comedian or be successful," which is not true. I was like the fucking crying kid in the corner. I was like Asperger's. Like if people touched me, it made me cry. I was
Right.
like in the corner screaming, having a hissy fit. No one fucking thought shit was gonna happen. But then the second thing is like, oh, you're doing so well, like so proud of you. And then I always write them back and ask them for money.
Right.
I'm like, cool, can I borrow $50?
I know a lot
like
of TV
living in a
comics
car.
like that. Like
Yeah.
I just had one hit me up for $1,000.
Really, you? Because you're
Like-
so rich?
Well, no, I mean, I wish I was as rich as people thought I was.
Yeah.
And this person's a very well-known comic, and she was asking me for rent. I was like, well, I've seen you on this. You were in this movie. You're in this TV show, and what do you do with your money? So
It's interesting. You really don't get paid that much. You really don't. I mean, the most money I've made is like a commercial I did, and I wasn't even in the fucking. I just like moved something in it, and I get like checks every once in a while, big chunks of money.
those big fat residuals.
I have no clue where it's playing or what it is for. Aspen Dental. I don't even know what that is.
Okay, I mean,
I'm not in it. I'm not in it, and I'm just getting checks. For a while, they were going to my dad, which was pretty sweet. I'm like, look at me, Dad.
Now, both what's if you don't mind me asking, parents still alive or?
My parents are alive. They just had their 45th wedding anniversary. They went to Applebee's. My boyfriend got them Applebee's gift cards for Christmas, and so it's just a big pile of white trash my whole life.
You have one brother, right?
I have a twin brother and an older brother.
Okay,
Did you see the picture I posted with my twin brother
I
today?
did.
We accidentally, I used to, when I was in Santa Fe, I was an assistant for this wedding photographer. And one time, and I dropped a $2,500 lens and broke it. She was like, just remember to zip the bag. And I was like, of course I'm going to zip the, bitch, chill. And then I didn't zip it and broke the lens. But so this is before I ruined her fucking lens. She was like, oh, your brother's in town? Come take pictures of them. And then I realized she just takes like engagement and wedding pictures. So she's like gaze into each other's eyes. We're just like romantically looking at each other in all of the pictures.
Well, you do photograph very well. That I think the lead picture on your website, it's like, wow, that's like, whoever, works.
Mindy Tucker, my best friend, one of my best friends, is a great photographer in New York. She takes all the New York comedy pictures. She has a book. I think it's a book this year. She does like a year in comedy and a year in New York comedy, and it's just like portraits. She's so good. It's amazing. Everyone, like every New York comic has a Mindy Tucker profile pic.
Well,
she's the best.
Who does your work out here? Do you have a headshot person?
No. I did headshots when I first came out here for my commercial agents, and I did like 4 hours with this dude, and I thought I was killing it. I thought I was like being super expressive and gave him a bunch of different looks. And at the end of it, he asked me if anyone had ever thought I was on the spectrum for autism. And I was like, in fact, yes, sir. And all the pictures look the same. I mean, it was so shitty.
Yeah, but I mean,
I hate getting my fucking headshots.
but I imagine at this point now you don't even need it. I mean, you're known enough where it's like you don't really need them.
I mean, I think that you are romanticizing my career.
Well, I mean, anyone's career is going to look like, the
Look at you. You got this
Beatles.
big couch. You got all these trophies that you put out for people to have to see that you were good at something once.
My ball hockey trophies.
What is that?
It's just it's the only non-comedy thing I do. I play in this ball hockey league.
What
on
is
Sundays.
ball hockey?
It's you play on a roller rink. It's on cement,
Oh, you use
but you're on
rollerblades.
feet, so it's harder.
Oh, but
So-
why do they have roller? They have ice skates.
Well, it's just a generic.
Oh my
trophy.
God, they don't like your sport is so shitty.
And here's a picture of me as a blonde with the singer from Rat. What do you think of that look?
That's cool.
You're a good
Look
actress.
like Drew Carey.
Well, yeah. Someone said I look like the guy from Green Day, but
Oh, really? Trey?
Billy Joe. I'm a.
You don't look
80s
like Billy Joe. You look like Trey.
Although once I almost got a hand job at a No Doubt concert because this pack of 15-year-olds thought I was the guy from Weezer. So,
Were you 16?
No, I was probably 30 at the time.
Did you take it, you fucking pervert?
I mean, let's just say the girls got a crash course in the industry.
You're like, you're not just a girl.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big Weezer fan, so.
That was a No Doubt joke.
Well, see, I don't know No Doubt, so.
There's a song about that's I'm just a girl.
Just a girl,
Yeah.
right. See, I know what time it is.
So,
Well, maybe you and I could,
no.
work on a project or
No.
something. We have this vibe. I'm not, like,
I mean,
romantic.
isn't this so ridiculous?
But, I mean, let's see how
I'm
long.
good.
Most of these get boring after about a half hour.
I'm good.
We are at an hour. We are already at an hour. I mean, this time has just flown by.
It's so hot in here.
It is hot. I do apologize for that. Daddy is working on the AC.
Ew.
A new AC is like 10 grand. So what I'm hoping to do is,
Have another relative die so you have some money?
yeah, I'm waiting for a callback on Kilborn from 07.
Oh, yeah. No, what happened? Did you have an audition?
I have a
the other
lot of auditions.
Didn't you have a callback?
I did have a callback for a John Stamos yogurt commercial.
Oh, really? What happened? Did you get it?
And I was I was put on a veils, which means it's down between, for you guys and girls listening, it's when you're put on a veils for a commercial, you're the top two choices, and they went with the other guy.
Ugh, I hate that. That happened to me with a TV show that's going to be so good on FX.
Doesn't that suck?
Oh my God, I was so close. I was like, I've never had such an amazing audition process. Like, it was my first pilot season. Like, I'd gone out maybe for one pilot before. And I mean, in my head, I never even imagined that I would ever like possibly be on a pilot. And then they needed me to send in a tape or they needed me to come in for an audition and I was going to be out of town. So I had to send in a tape. So I sent in like obviously I did it like 28 times. And so I sent him in like the perfect one.
Like what kind of tape? Like a stand-up tape? Or?
No, a tape they sent me the sides.
Oh, okay.
So me reading the sides. So I sent it, they're like, she's great. We love her. Bring her. I'm like, what? Like, I've never even imagined they'd just be like, who's this fucking fat boy with glasses? And so then I like go in. It was like it was like all these people from like Seinfeld and Arrested Development. It was like crazy. Like Josh Gad was there. It was like so insane.
Now, who's that? I don't know who that is.
Josh Gad?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he was the original guy from the Book of Mormon.
Oh, okay.
And he was in 1600 Penn. And he was in for one of the voices. I think he was the snowman in Frozen.
Okay, I thought you were going to say the snowman in Wizard of Oz, but that was the Tin Man. My bad.
And that was in 1941. But you just want someone to be older than you.
Well, me and your dad probably dated the same chicks, so.
My mom.
So, well, it's possible. I mean,
She looks like Bieber. Are you into Bieber?
Justin? Not really.
She's got his haircut from like 2 years ago.
So what happened with the pipe? Sorry.
Oh no, I just like it was just such a fucking great. I was like, this is so crazy, and I just kept getting more. Like they kept calling me back again, and then I would like go in and meet with the producers, and they're like, this is great. Just like we just want you to do this little twerk, and they're like, this is awesome. And then I like went and improvised with Billy Crystal. My test was improvising with Billy Crystal, and it was like truly the most fun. And I was like making the room. I mean, I've just never felt like so good. I was like, holy shit. In my original like audition, I somehow started talking about the time I saw Requiem for a Dream in the movie theater with my dad.
Right.
I was like talking about like watching the ass to ass scene next to my dad, and they were like loving the story. I'm like, how is this like even happening right now? And then and then they went to another girl.
That's all good. I mean,
But it was so close. I was like, and then pilot season was like, I was like, oh, well, it'll be good. I'll just like get a bunch of other callbacks. I just like bombed everything after that.
I highly doubt that. I mean, it's a crazy business, man. You don't know why certain people get certain things, and
I mean, it's all good. There's a million parts.
yeah, but you have a great. You're in it to win it. I mean, you got a great look, and your attitude.
That's what they said in Montreal after I bombed. People were like, don't worry, you got a good look.
Well, you do.
And I was like, who cares about my looks?
Like you're like a younger Sarah Silverman to me. Like you talk about things that like most pretty girls don't, and I think guys like me love that, and girls probably dig it too. So that's like, you know, it's a win-win.
Yeah, well, I try to do more than just gross you out.
Well, oh yeah, you're more than just dirty jokes, you know. But all right,
Am I, Earl?
I think you are. You're a winner, and I have a feeling this podcast,
This is going to blow up.
you know, one tweet from you to your legions of fans.
I will not tweet this.
You have to. It's
I
the only way
refuse.
it's going to get listens. I mean, this is, I think, been innovative podcast. We've gotten to break down the walls.
Yeah, it's been great. So maybe it'll get me some new followers that aren't going to jizz my glasses off my face.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love Opie and Anthony. Norton, I used to sneak him into Motorhead because my ex-girlfriend manages them, and he would always ask me to hook him up. And to see, like, you wouldn't think he acted like a kid every time I took him backstage to Motorhead. Cause,
he gets real starstruck.
Yeah, and he was like, Earl,
funny.
And like I was nervous because like I was a fan of his. So
Right.
like here I have someone I look up to, like tugging on my shirt. Can I go meet Lemmy now? And
Yeah.
it's like what? It was neat to see someone, like be a fan of it. Like,
Yeah.
he was like he wasn't a comic. He was just like a normal person.
Yeah. He doesn't have that ego that so many people get.
Yeah, like him and like Jeff Ross is another guy.
Nice dude.
Who like we talk more about Kiss and like stuff like that than we do comedy, which is probably why I don't make it because I'm too busy wanting to talk about my love of Kiss.
Maybe that should be more of your set.
Well, you know, I got to get up. You know, I played at outdoor patio last night. I'm just
Do you
trying
open for people on the road?
just
besides
Rob Schneider
Rob?
usually, and which is like, you know, great.
Yeah.
But, and then let me see. Yeah, that's about it. I mean,
It's hard out here. I don't know why. It's just like it's so different out here. It's like maybe you should run your own show.
You know, I did that for a while, and I don't know. I don't want to be. It's too much of a headache to.
It is, yeah.
If it was like dealing with people like you and like I don't know Ian Bagg and people I respected, I wouldn't mind it. But you know, to like the show I was on last night, so many comics were kind of like having an attitude of, "Oh, I want to go next. I don't want to wait." And it's like, well, then you know, be funnier than the people who are going on.
How like amazing would it be to be like one of the dudes, the like 3 dudes in this town that can just roll in and go up whenever the fuck they want? Not just dudes. I mean, I'm just saying people.
Oh, girl. I mean, Whitney, Dalia.
I mean, just roll the fuck in. We're like, oh shit. It sucks when you're like about to go up and you're like, oh no.
But I can't. I don't know how you feel about it. I don't mind it from the standpoint of if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't. I would do it too.
As much shit that I would want to talk on that. I was talking to my friend about it. I was like, you know, it sucks. And he's like, that's why you do all the other shit. Like you do it so you can get to that point where you can do that. You got to be respectful, but you don't want to fuck people over.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think there's certain comics who abuse the privilege and you know, who like hog up a bunch of stage time when they're not really even working on anything. It's like, well, you knew someone like you was waiting to go on or whoever.
It's funny that Tommy was like the only one left that would just like not kiss certain people's ass.
That I did kind of like about him. Like,
well, he didn't know. Like he didn't have like he didn't know who he was just going off weird shit.
I mean, you know, I think one time he told Rob Schneider. Yeah, I mean, Rob went up, did well. You know, people were like, "Oh my God, it's Deuce Bigelow."
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the animal, it's the hot chick, it's the copy machine guy, and you know, Rob talked to him after, and Tommy basically told him to come on the amateur nights.
Oh, it's so funny.
And it's like, Do you know if you put his name up on the marquee, it's an instant sellout, and I don't think Tommy cared.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I kind of
It's kind of cool. I mean, I'm telling you again, like I honestly was on the side of someone who, I mean, he passed me around. If he hadn't, I wouldn't. I mean, my loyalties weren't that deep. I mean, my
Right.
loyalties were just like, thank God that I got this fucking treatment.
Oh, you listen. I mean, I wish.
I mean, it's great to know. You know, it's great to know that I always have a place and I have a spot, and it was really good when I first moved out here to hang out. I don't hang out there that much anymore because
You're working.
I got shit to do. But
I'm there a lot.
people give me shit. Like, I called him my avails the other day, and the dude's like, "Where have you been? What'd you get, a boyfriend?" I'm like, "One, I've had a boyfriend, and two, like, what are you talking about?"
Was it Josh Martin?
It wasn't Josh Martin because it would have been a boyfriend.
Well, boy,
Joshy.
Josh, a good man. I respect him a lot. I mean, to be a comic with a speech impediment and to do it at the comedy. I mean, I would say the Comedy Store is his home club. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
I mean, I hear the Cellar is like a ball busting club, but I mean, the Comedy Store out here is probably of the clubs, the Improv, Laugh Factory, Ice House, Hermosa is definitely the most ball busting.
Yeah.
So I do respect him for that.
The fucking Comedy Store is so crazy. It's so fun.
I mean, he did the roast battle one
Yeah.
night, and it was like, he was a little nervous, I think, so he kind of stumbled over his first line, and then just the animals attacked. But then he got the whole crowd back.
Yeah, he's got a good amount of hatred in him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he lives a rough life. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if, like, he's got his, like, speech thing, and, I have a big head. And
yeah,
I don't know what
I have a big head.
But
I have no tits and a big head.
But mine's huge.
It's crazy. I've never been able to take a picture with boyfriends because my head is so big.
See, to me, your head looks normal, but I'm comparing it to my head. I
mean,
can't
it's
wear
crazy.
hats.
My boyfriend has like a small head. It looks ridiculous. We looked so stupid together.
Yeah, but you. Now, is it hard to date someone who's in the comedy business? But
Well, it's better because he understands it. It's not like he doesn't like get it. It's just hard to date when you're a comedian. Like, I've made sure for so long. I mean, I had a boyfriend for a year.
Out here or back?
In New York, who I hope is dead. Like, really, truly, I hope he's fucking floating in a fucking river. He's fat enough. He already looks bloated. We just need to get him in there. But
how do you really feel about
I
it?
really fucking hope diabetes takes him limb by fucking limb. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Now, hold on before I don't want. This is gold here. Let's not. May I ask why just a bad breakup?
The breakup was the best part. He was horrible to my family, super mean to my family.
That's so good.
So made my mom cry 2 times. I mean, it's like crazy. I mean, I'm so embarrassed that I, stayed with him. Hi, you're really cute.
Well, she's talking to Lois, by the way, not me.
Not at all.
Lois was. I picked her up at Michael Vick's ranch, 12-0. So
look at you! Now you get to be a bit.
Popped in some material there.
Yeah, just throw it in there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give that joke?
I mean, I just turned off the minute I heard you go into your joke cadence. I just completely stopped listening.
Hey, what?
It's such a nightmare when people do that, isn't it? You just feel so uncomfortable.
I don't do that.
I do. I mean, sometimes I'll go, I have a bit that I'm working on. Like, if it comes into conversation, I just want to talk to people. I mean, that's why I love, like, okay, so, like, Nate Bargatze is one of my good friends from New York who's out here now. Do you know him?
I know the name, but
he's truly like the funny. I mean, watch him. He's like squeaky clean, but you won't even notice he's being clean.
Right.
Because he's so fucking good. But it's like great that you like. I have people that I can be like, I can like run shit by him, and he's not gonna. He's great. He's the best.
Now, do people out here, who does it more, New York or LA, where they just try and talk to you like this but slip in their jokes?
Here.
Which is like a huge, for you guys listening out there, it's the worst to go up to a comic and act like you're talking about something innocuous. See, that's a big word for me. And you're really just trying your material out. I
mean, I was a waitress. Like, just get a waitressing job. Just do that. Like, just fucking make your customers suffer through your fucking jokes. I got like I used to do a really shitty show when I first started at this restaurant, Life Cafe I worked at. And I got like such a big mailing list from it because I would just wait on tables and they'd be like, "You're funny." I'm like, "Actually, I'm a comedian. Give me your email." And then so I was able to I got a better show later on and I had all those people come. It was fun.
I mean, you were on the grassroots of
exactly.
Marketing.
It's so fun. I mean, you just like It's so like this. I think it's more frustrating out here because I think it happens more out here where you see people who like don't work that hard.
Get
And then they
things.
just get like crazy things and they're just blown up and then they have all this opportunity.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I saw Who Got Montreal this year. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean,
So hard. And it's still like, and I know I've already done Montreal and so it's like fine. It's like, but it doesn't, you don't need to get Montreal to like succeed, you know? But, you know, it's easier for me to say because I already did it. But it, you know, again, it was a real like crazy experience for me. I really didn't have fun. It was like so much pressure and to go unrepped and like not have anyone like taking care of you and like, it was just so hard. I mean, I got in so many fights. I mean, I feel like I'm still rebuilding bridges with people. I mean, I really kind of fucked up out there.
but
I
I
was
mean,
honest. I didn't know you were supposed to lie about things. I
you-
didn't know. Like, this was my first experience with like industry and people from LA and like that type of thing. I didn't realize that you're just supposed to be like super fucking grateful and like so like ass kissy about everything. I thought when people asked you how the show was, you're supposed to say it sucked.
Oh, not out here.
I didn't know that though.
Oh, great.
Like when
job.
agencies were like courting me, and after I bombed, they're coming out and they're like, "Here are all these networks. We want to introduce you. You killed." And I'm like, "I just bombed. Like, can you guys give me a second?
Right.
You know?" And then guess what? Didn't leave with an agent.
Yeah, but you're doing all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my goal with each guest, Annie, is to make them want to come back for more, like the Rat song says. So,
Ew.
I mean,
Wasn't that your mom's advice?
no. Well, yeah. And listen, I won't say every girl has come back for
Ugh.
more, but most have.
I mean, do you guys know what Earl looks like? He's like a ridiculous human being. His glasses are giant. He always has his dick out.
What do you think of this look?
It's weird. Can you see?
No.
Then I
I'm gonna
love
put this
it.
back on.
Go drive.
I mean,
Go take a
listen,
drive. Let me hold under your glasses.
I'm gonna teach you a little bit. We're gonna sign off on.
Ugh.
You know, I'm stealing a line right now from the great Ric Flair. Do you know? Please tell me you know who Ric Flair is.
is
Legendary
it?
pro wrestler.
Oh, sorry.
He's an old guy like me, and he says, "Me and him are like Space Mountain at Disneyland. We might be the oldest ride in the park, but we got the longest line." So where can we find you next, Annie?
Not here.
You would come back. You would come back.
I would come back. I
If it
also
was
lost. I
cooler.
lost my Fitbit on Space Mountain, so it's a sore subject.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, listen,
Where can you find me next?
you got a special coming
Girl
out.
Code premieres on the 1st.
What channel?
It's on MTV. Hopefully my other show will be picked up.
And you can't say what it is right now because.
I mean, I can. It's a pilot for E! I mean, a lot of people have them.
Oh, that's cool.
It's for E! They're trying to fill a couple slots. And R.I.P. Joan Rivers
And Twitter, can you do that whole spiel?
It's my name. It's at Annie Lederman. So that's spelled ANNIELEDERMAN. If you can't remember that, it's like David Letterman, but no T's, 1D. So you can just think Tranny Annie, no T's, 1D.
And listen, guys, Annie's the real deal. She didn't have to come down here. I appreciate her time. So it's my goal to make this the #1 episode ever.
Ugh, it wasn't funny or fun. Sorry, guys.
But it was informative.
I was drunk.
This podcast, Annie, is like my humor. Not a lot of laughter, but we get some informative stuff.
And you just kidnap one person to make them listen to it?
And now I'm going to hit you over the head and imagine what your head would look like on a stick.
What is that from?
It's American Psycho, Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah.
So-
I get it. That's why you did the little lisp at the end.
Yeah. So, Annie, you're the best. Seriously. Guys, follow Annie. She needs more followers.
Yeah, follow my Instagram's fine.
And tweet to her how much you like the show, and she'll favorite and retweet it. I mean, that's how it works.
Who retweets compliments, by the way? Who are these pieces
I
of
do.
shit?
And
Well, I know when you've only done it once.
Well, you got to appear active on social media. I mean, Facebook
You
is.
can't retweet. You're retweeting compliments to people who already follow you.
Yeah, but it gets a buzz going.
Oh, God. It's so horrible.
So, Annie Lederman's the best. This has been Inappropriate, Earl.
Later, dudes.
We're on SoundCloud. And for you Steve Jobs nut swingers, we're also on iTunes. Leave a review, favorite, make Daddy famous before he's 50.
Oh, God. You guys seriously don't let him say daddy.
Seriously, Annie, I think one day when I'm successful will not take my calls. So thank you guys for the love and support. Annie's the best. See her at the Comedy Store, Improv, Laugh Factory, Ice House, Hermosa. She's a real comer. Follow her, love her, learn it, live it. R.I.P. Joan Rivers. Ray Rice, you're out of control. And
Miss you, Robin.
Yeah, this is 9/11. This is a special 9/11.
Yeah, it's 9/11.
9/11. Now, before you go, you're standing up, getting ready to leave because I was wrapping up. Any thoughts on 9/11? Were you in New York?
You want to know what's fucked up? I wasn't. I was in Santa Fe. I was my first year of college, but it's the anniversary of me joining Twitter. Like I thought I had such a good 9/11 joke that I joined Twitter one year.
What was the joke? Let's leave it. This is how we're leaving 9/11 joke by Annie Lederman.
Okay, I signed up for Twitter like 3 or 4 years ago for this joke. Today is the perfect day to have a memory foam mattress because it never forgets. Sorry for all of the fallen heroes, and I'm a monster. So
Annie, that's why she's on the show, because she knows how to close out in style. Guys, this will be out tonight. Thank you very much, and come back for more.